Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated me.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was a nasty, that wasn't a question. She didn't ask me a question. She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated your statement, sir, actually.
No, she did not give a statement. She gave multiple statements, and not just multiple statements, but multiple statements that you made. And then posed the question, why should black people trust you? This is simple. Beautiful. Well done. Remarkable. I was proud of my dear sister for making that question stick. He was very concerned about the fact she didn't say, how you doing? Are you okay? So here's the other part of the reality of interviewing Trump and asking him a real damn question. NPR reporter revealed on X, her post on Saturday, that ABC host Rachel Scott received death threats following her widely publicized interview with former President Donald Trump at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Chicago. It says, quote, at a membership meeting today, NABJ's executive director said ABC's Rachel Scott had received death threats following her work asking incisive questions of Donald Trump at the group's national convention on Wednesday. There was no further elaboration. The Daily Beast reached out to ABC and the NABJ for comment, but has not yet received a response. The Guardian did as well. At the NABJ convention, Scott asked Trump if he believes Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman. That was another question, to which Trump replied, quote, I don't know. She was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know. Is she Indian or is she black? Now, that's a lie, by the way. She didn't just say, oh, I'm black today. But it is interesting to me that it's like they're afraid of her being black. They want her to be everything but black, okay? Being black is the thing they don't want her to be. I wonder why is that? Let me give you a reminder of the exchange.
Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a definition then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question,
no,
a very direct question.
Define it for me if you would.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that
I think somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
I really don't know. I mean, I really don't know. Could be.
She kept it very professional in that exchange. And Trump has been Swedish. He has been Irish. He has been German, depending on what decade we're referring to here. However, others have criticized Ms. Scott for questioning Trump, including Fox News host and co-panelist Harris Faulkner. All right, so the news anchor accused her colleague of starting a discussion with an emotional tone. Yeah, emotional tone. According to The Hill, she felt the indicted presidential candidate should have been given more grace after surviving an assassination attempt. This just don't make no damn sense. This doesn't make sense at all, Ms. Faulkner. So some people criticize me, madam, at the NABJ. Well, I'm a member, by the way, for calling you a sellout. Madam, I stand by that. You were on that panel for exactly what you're doing, to be the apologist, to make things nice and fluffy for Trump while throwing your colleagues on that stage under the bus. So yes, I stand by it. Here's more.
I'm watching that back and I'm seeing that we were able to, at some points, the former president and I have a conversation. So much of what America is focused on today, and so much of what that started with all that emotion and the gotcha moments from the interviewer who was seated directly to his left, has really overtaken the fact that we had an opportunity to talk with a president who walked into a racial storm yesterday. There were journalists, activists, whatever you want to call people, who let their politics show, who wanted the NABJ to rescind its offer to have the 45th president of the United States come. He walks out on stage and not a greeting to acknowledge it's been 18 days at that point since you survived an assassination attempt. We're going to ask you tough questions, but Mr. President, welcome, and we're glad you're still here. Yeah. I mean, it didn't take much to show humanity, and in that moment I was so disappointed that didn't happen. I couldn't control it, but it got things off to an emotional start. And you and I both know that once that happens and you're interviewing someone, there is an agenda. There was a way to have taken some of the energy out of that moment, though, with that reporter. And what I would say to anyone who's going to be discussing race, while the left is playing the race card mightily, take the air out of the balloon a little bit and let things cool down by saying, look, I'm willing to discuss anything with you, but if you show me disrespect, if we can't have mutual respect, then it's up to you if you want me to get up and leave. Yeah. It's all on you. You've got the control. And boom, take it down.
There was no disrespect. It was a question. You didn't like it. Trump didn't like it. It happens. It's part of the job. You are a public leader. You decided to do an interview. You want everyone to ask you questions like Sean Hannity does. Other conservative talking heads also said, unprofessional, like Sage Steele claims Scott was unprofessional, aggressive, and just plain mean to poor Donald Trump. Steele tweeted, unprofessional, petty, totally uncalled for. Let's put aside her role as a journalist for a moment and consider the human element of this. What a disgraceful way to start a conversation, much less such an important interview. She immediately set the tone in such a negative way and ruined what could have been a productive conversation. Talk about missed opportunities. So disappointing that she chose to handle it this way. This is yet another example of why Americans don't and should not trust the media. There we go. All right. I completely disagree. I thought it was a relevant question. I'm glad it was posed in that way. Happy she did it under those circumstances. I was one of those that said, why is he here? Why is he an invited anything? You already know where he stands on stuff. The guy started lying before he got there. All right? Okay. the same individuals who are saying that the journalist was unprofessional are the same ones who are apologists for Donald Trump and all of his unprofessionalism, all of his sexism, all of his phobias, all of his racism. They're the ones who will apologize for him and say, no, he didn't really mean it that way. Or that's not what he said when he damn sure said it in that exact way. News One Note still appears to be one of many people from the foreign lands of Mount Delulu who live in a world where anyone in journalism has ever had a productive conversation with Donald Trump. It's like she's never seen a Trump interview and witnessed the way he bounces around from subject to subject, avoids hard questions. He really does avoid hard questions. Do you remember when he received that really difficult question of, hey, Trump, give me your favorite Bible scripture? He couldn't do it. The man could, that's a hard question for Donald Trump. He said, I like them all, every single one of them, including 2 Corinthians. No president or ex-president in recent history has kept fact checkers working overtime to keep up with the myriad of lies he persistently repeats. But sure, the conversation wasn't productive because Scott asked him about his clear and observable racism. Meanwhile, yesterday, Trump's presidential campaign took an interesting turn as he appeared in a live stream. And this live stream, hosted by a controversial content creator, well, let's put him up. Known for platforming racist people, well, like white supremacist Nick Fuentes, etc. Also some sex traffickers like Andrew Tate in the past. Live interview hosted by Twitch alternative streaming site Kick-And. At its peak, had over 580,000 views. Here's some of it.
But you have journalists today, like that one that intercepted me literally. That was like a booby trap. I walk in and she starts saying, "We got to start a meeting." She didn't say, "Oh, thank you very much for being here."
No.
Just like the worst. And frankly, if I owned that network, I would fire her so fast. It was so inappropriate. And you actually give less information than what you would have. They did it with sugar, right? But she doesn't know about sugar, that one. That was sort of terrible. Became viral, #1 viral.
Yeah.
And it was the question that was viral. Mm-hmm. I think my answers were sort of good.
They were really good.
I think they considered to be, I can't brag, but they were considered to be very good. But the level of hatred and craziness, and you don't know, is that from the head of the network or is that from her? And I did it because I thought it was a good thing to do. And they had a journalist, I didn't know who she was, but she was nasty. She was a terrible person. And I walk in and instead of saying, "Hello, thank you very much for doing this," but I walk in and this woman starts talking about, she talked about, let's get rid of the elephant in the room. And she starts talking about racism and everything. I said, "You didn't even say hello to me." And I'm doing them a favor by doing this. I'm doing this out of respect to the black community. And we're getting record numbers, as you know, in the black community. And she came across, she's with ABC Fake News, which is one of the worst. ABC is one of the worst.
Right.
And she is horrible. So she was very nasty. But I did it. And it was quite a sensation. Actually, a lot of people think it was well handled. The woman was so rude.
So rude.
That, it's hard to believe. You can walk into a thing, and I do them a favor, and I do this. Most people said, "Why are you doing it?" I feel I have an obligation.
That's the kind of interview he wanted. Right there. Right there. You're so good, Donald Trump. You nailed it. You're so amazing. As a matter of fact, Trump, you're so amazing. I'm going to give you a gold Rolex. Oh, I'm not kidding. The man gave him a gold Rolex. Here it is. See, this is probably an open bribe. A side note, at one point in the interview, Ross even presented Trump with a gold Rolex watch. As the details of the live stream flooded social media, observers wondered if Ross was attempting to bribe Trump or whether accepting such an expensive gift constituted some kind of campaign finance violation, perhaps. Then at the end of the live stream, Ross presented Trump with another gift, a Tesla Cybertruck with a custom wrap featuring the now famous picture of Trump after he was shot during the Butler rally, Pennsylvania. Damn it. If you're going to bribe a person that's about to become American president, that's how you do it. Sharon, man, how? How did we get here, Sharon? We're in the Twilight Zone.
I don't know why you're being so brutal about a little watch, Doc. It's not like we got 10 million US dollars from Egypt or anything. Look, I am tired of this entitled, pathetic, low bar, the real affirmative action in America brat. Yeah. Never held accountable for anything. But he is accountable, and he's a liar. And you know who else is responsible for what we just saw on the stage at NABJ, where he treated Rachel Scott like the help who better not look him in the eyes? The National Association of Broadcast Journalists, their leadership, who also lied and was not transparent and invited this bigot, disgusting trash box into their home to attack their own foundation. That's not journalism. That's using old rules about the importance of interviewing and vetting a candidate for the highest office in the land with someone who's so unserious and stupid, who has a cult following. That was pathetic. And NABJ has got to get rid of anyone involved in green lighting this decision that lacked transparency. They have got to go. The organization has to move forward without them in leadership.
Yeah, still a lot of questions about why the invitation was extended, who talked to the Harris campaign, because they had conflicting information. One person resigned before the whole thing blew up. They said, oh, I already see where this is going. All right, we'll give you updates as they come.